We're ready. All right. It is 8 o'clock. We will call the Wednesday, July 13th transit meeting to order. Roll call. I believe we have everyone present besides John Mentz, and we have Chris Corporal here too. Approval of minutes. This is June 15th. Johnson. Second. Motion's been moved and seconded by Brian. Art. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good to go. Public hearing, public comments, I would imagine, go down staff on the rest of.
Go down to that, right, the little 3 dots there. You actually got hide the presenter view.
All right. All right, everybody is here for the meeting. Perfect, thank you. Agenda today, ridership, financials, grants, it's getting to be that time of year. Electric bus update, staffing, stout ridership feedback, survey, around the shop, around the buses, on the route, and any questions. Ridership. This last month, doorstop and Red Cedar ridership decreased just a bit, down 7%. And you look back to May, it was up 3%. Community route increased again, up 4% from July and June. And then if you look back after we lost the stout students, there was a big decrease from June to May. But this next slide is pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to move our group here. Okay, so if you look at the top right of the screen, I have a few things highlighted here. 2022 community. May, we get a silver star. That's the second best that we've ever had. And then June with 402 was doubled to tripled from any other year that we've had in the past. And then July was about double any other year at least that we've had in the past. So that's awesome to see. If you look down to doorstop in red, August is going to be the same thing. We've already got it's a little bit cut off on your screen up there, but 113 riders so far, and we're only 10 days in. Doorstop in Red Cedar. Again, at the beginning of the summer here, we switched how we assign routes during that lunch hour. Now that Red Cedar bus doesn't hop in this doorstop bus, it stays out there and we just assign routes to that bus. That way they're not wasting 30 minutes coming back out here to switch. And that, as you can see, is a lot of the increase on Red Cedar in 2022 compared to the decrease a little bit in doorstop, but you add those together and it's right in pre-COVID numbers, right around 500, most of those last 3 months. So that's been awesome to see. We don't get any gold stars there yet in comparison to previous years, but we're right back up there.
Well, it looks like there's been a big change because of like COVID. It seems like, before 2019, the numbers were a lot higher, and it just takes time to get it to come back.
Oh yeah, especially, well, we introduced the community route as free in June 1st of 21. And then we also introduced a kind of a brand new route on June 1st of 2021. So that takes time to understand how the route works, even though it's not much different. It is different, so. Getting verbiage out there that shows the new route, shows that it's free. And it took about a year to really see the numbers climb like they have. On the doorstop route, that is a lot more elderly and disabled riders on that route, so COVID really took a hit on ridership with those buses the past couple of years. That's cutting it off a little bit at the bottom there, but financial expenses through 8/9. I ran this through the end of August because yesterday afternoon our July staffing bill came in, so I popped it in quick so we'd be able to see it in the meeting today. But this percentages wise, everything would be ran through the end of the month. Everything looks good in our numbers. Again, that repair bill, that was 16,000, 11,000 that got reimbursed. So if you take that out of there, the repair and maintain motor vehicles looks a lot better than it is. It's 25% to the good.
So what is that contractual consulting service? Why is what is that?
That's all of our employees over at Transit. So they're all they're all contracted employees.
I thought you had some kind of company that was.
No,
consulting.
no. Yeah, that, other than that, everything's the fuel budget's rough. Sitting at 26,900, and through 8 months, we should be sitting at about 17,000. But other than that, everything is looking good. If you can't see it on the big screen, but on the computer here, we're sitting about 22% to the good, and we like to stay around that 20%. So, and this is ran through the end of the month, but the only other things to come in is $1,000 AC repair bill when that bus gets done, and some of our $100 to $200 monthly subscriptions to our radios and stuff like that. So it's pretty accurate. Grant timeline. It's the time of the year to bring this slide back. Solar grant award extended until 9/30 of 2023. I haven't went into that much with Steve from Wisconsin DOT, myself, and a lot of our contractors that are working on the electric buses with what that's been like. We've tried to been focusing on that. City of Menominee, that subsidy, that submission is due close to the end of the month here in August, and I'll be submitting it this week for the end of the week. And then that is the timeline of the City of Menominee subsidy. The state 5311 grant that flows from FTA, that's not open till a little bit later this fall. The state 8521 is due at the end of the year, and again submitted by Human Services and UW Stout and us. We had our summer meeting, we had 2 of them, and contract is signed, and everything's good to go ahead of schedule on that, and we have March and December payments for that subsidy. Revenue through 8/31. This looks a bit skewed when a lot of things are by 2 payments a year, 4 payments a year from Menominee, 2 from UW Stout. And a lot of our whizzed out revenue was very back end loaded. We got Q4 last year in June of this year. So that looks pretty light at 6% that we've got from them. Passenger fares. If you add in our July AR bills that are still out there, we're sitting around 20,000. But right now we should have about 30,000 in there. That's looking a little light too, but ridership is coming back up. The The 10,772 is that reimbursement for the repair bill deductible. So electric bus update. The 60 kilowatt charger was delivered, and in our meeting last month, we were in the middle of installation on that. That is now installed. I do not have an update on the 30 kilowatt or the buses other than the end of the year / into next year. But it turned out awesome. It looks great, fits good, looks like it's supposed to be there. They use the conduit bracing that was for the original facility electrical. Everything looks like it was built and made to be there. Everything is ran. This is where, to the right side is where the 30 kilowatt charger will wall mount in bay 1 there on the wall. And everything is already ran right up to the box when it comes. And then this is the big service box right at the connection to outside.
So where do you wash your bus at? Is there a wash bay there?
Yep, that's on the other side of the facility. It's big enough for 1 bus deep. It's a little bit shallower than the other bays on the other side of the facility. And we normally keep 1 bus in there, and that saves space. So we can pull the other buses in and out in the other bays. But it's good. We got a power washer in there, and then electrical power washer with soap, and then we got a fire hose that works great for rinsing. Staffing. Operation supervisor, 5 drivers, 1 still gone on medical leave till to be determined. 3 dispatchers, 2 are drivers. 4 weeks from today, the stout route starts, stout PM route starts, and community Saturday starts, and we're 2 drivers short. So backup plan 1 is always the operations supervisor hops in a bus. But last semester he was driving about 3 routes a week, and I was covering lunch breaks every Monday through Thursday. So if that driver does not come back, we are even shorter than we were last semester. I've got Facebook advertising out that I'm pushing hard these next 2 weeks, that I've been pushing the last 2 weeks as well. But we haven't received people from the staffing agency. The few that we've had have come from those Facebook ads, and then we've sent them to the to PI management to hopefully get them on board. And we are batting 0 right now. But and our hands are a bit tied when it comes to rate and sign contract for that. So that's where we are at. So we're kind of in the 7th or 8th inning right now with needing something. Otherwise, I'll be back in a bus a lot. Stout route feedback. This is about a 20-30 page feedback report that we got. I condensed it mostly down to 2 slides. So if anybody would like the whole document, let me know and I can email it to you. But just touching on the high points, this is a stout route. Looking at it percentage wise, it's up at least a few percents from last year. The bus schedule meets my needs, 58% compared to last year at 54%, up 1%. That it's comfortable to ride. The bus stops where I need it to, or close enough to where I need it to, at 69% compared to 58%. It's been the same route for a long time. So there hasn't been a change, but I'm glad that that is up. And then the bus is generally on time, 65%. That could be improved upon, but it is easy to understand the route at 67% the same as last year. And a bunch of other questions that we asked riders, if the bus could stop somewhere else, where it would stop. South Hall was a idea, but it is very condensed there on the street between the MSC and those dorms, where when you have parking on both sides, students crossing, we all agreed that it would be good to keep it the way it is. Community route feedback. 69% said they would not change anything about the bus. Those who never ride the bus said 40% said they would change something. People who ride a few times a year, 55% indicated they would change something. People who ride the bus a few times a month had the opposite opinion, and 55% that said they wouldn't change anything. And then for people who ride the bus a few times a week, only 23% said they would change something. And riders who ride on a weekly basis, 95% said they wouldn't change anything. So that was great to see. A lot of the feedback, this goes from people who never ride the bus to a few times a year, to a few times a month, a few times a week, and a few times a day. This takes us through. Wish the community route would go later into the night. I wish the bus would stop in neighborhoods where the college students are. And a lot of the exact stops that people were looking for in this feedback, we do stop at. So the issue is advertising and relaying that information that we do stop there. Stop at Edgewood and 28th. We go past Fricklin Drive. That's right on the route. We go past South Hall 2 minutes after every hour. And a lot of these stops that they're talking about were stops that we do go to. And that's where the idea for the brochures being posted on every bus stop sign and not just in bus shelters, because there's another 10 bus stop signs around town and there's only 9 of these shelters at specific locations. So those are all up, and I think that they will really help with trying to relay the information we are trying to convey. And then the Scout team put together these final graphics that will go in the bus shelters that talk about how to ride the community bus. It's got a whole map, it's got a schedule, and this will be posted in the bus shelters. And then we're going to, they were going to take care of the Scout bus shelters, and we'll get them whatever we need to put them in all the bus shelters. Around the shop, this month's focus was process improvement. We got these 2 open box, a little bit older model Roombas that on the days that the buses aren't getting mopped and washed, these will get swept. And these are paid for in 14 days of use at 15 minutes per day that they're used. They get underneath the seats, they get corners, and they have enough suction to get inside the wheelchair tracks. So pretty cool. The last thing a driver wants to do at the end of the day, especially if they're working the Scout PM route, is sweep the bus out. So if we can help with that and keep them focused on driving, it all helps. Around the buses, gearing up for the semester, bus repairs, we always talked about the past couple months with air conditioning systems. Badger Refrigeration did a great job. Instead of taking them to Northtown Ford and having them just fill it up, these guys found the leak, fixed the bad condenser. 315 electrical relay replaced. John and I spent hours trying to dial that in and narrow that down where that issue is coming from. These guys got in touch with the manufacturer and found that, got it working. So 311 is the last one that's sitting over at Badger, and we're sitting good for the semester. One driver said, Austin, we really appreciate that how good a shape these buses are in, because there's a lot of summers and semesters that one or two of these buses were the only ones with AC. So that was good to hear. And we talked about getting a little bit of advertising on the buses, nothing crazy, nothing gaudy. It still gets the point across. We wondered how much information we should put on these, what's too much and what's too little. And I think this will hit the spot. You pulling up behind the bus, it's right there. Cheap advertising, $16. Questions?
So nothing solid on the electric buses yet.
Nope. And I just talked to the MJ Electric rep that was putting the stickers on the panels yesterday. He said we're headed to Eau Claire right now, to Eau Claire Transit, to get some more chargers for them installed, or to get the pads laid. They have no idea when the chargers are coming though.
Really?
So it's yeah, it's been hard coming into these meetings and saying, hey, I think it's going to be 30 to 60 days. I've said that since last April. So, but it's awesome that the one is here. It's ready to be electrified. I think it's just waiting on inspection. So, and that one just showed up one day. So if the bus just shows up one day, we'll be ready. But when I talked to XL Energy a couple weeks ago, he said that from that last conversation with Thomas, that our buses were at the testing location waiting to be tested. But so one would think that we are in the final stretch. But till it shows up, yeah, where we leave it.
Any other questions? Nothing. Well, that's all considerations and nothing. Done. I guess we can adjourn the meeting if there's no other questions. Officially adjourned.
Thank you.
Break, we want to get ready. Wait for Austin.
Yeah, we
Trying to get out of here.
We want to listen to this.
Hey, I'm relevant for one slide. Coming up.
And it is an open meeting.
Coming up. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Austin. Good job.
Thank you. Thanks.
Austin's turning 30 this week.
30, young pup.
Yes. Yes, well, you want to sit up here? Okay, okay. Call the highway committee meeting to order for August. Roll call, we're all here. Plus Dustin and the new county manager. Welcome. Approval of minutes. July 13th. We have motion. Is there a second?
Yeah.
We have a second. Is there any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public comment? Have anything, Dustin?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No public comment.
Item number 5, nothing placed at the request of the chair. We'll go right into staff reports.
Okay, well, I did it a little bit different this time, this meeting. I tried to put a PowerPoint presentation together, just kind of like how Austin does it. It's a lot more beneficial than sitting and looking at a piece of paper the entire time, but so we'll go through the agenda. So highway shop operations, staffing report, projects, bridges, County Road Q and W design, our crushing equipment operations, and the tour of Dunn County, and then our wrap things up with the highway financials. So starting off with our everyday operations. So we'll start with the field operations. We just completed our asphalt paving on our 2 projects, our County Road V project and County Road Q project. So the County Road V project is the project up by Sand Creek. It was a 3-mile stretch of road. So that is completed. We're just waiting for gravel shouldering and pavement markings to be completed, which we're currently looking at probably next week sometime to be doing that. The County Road Q project, that was a 1.25 mile section of road just north of 170 by Downing. So that is in the same process. We're just waiting for gravel shoulder and pavement markings. And there is a little bit of guardrail on that. We did contract with Farner Asphalt to be doing the pavement markings. Who just wrapped up our seal coat projects. So they painted all those for us, and then they will be completing some of their remarks that were originally on our first mobilization that they have not completed yet. So I haven't forgotten about the whole curve there by Sand Creek. I know that by the gas station, so I've expressed concerns that we have to have pavement markings there delineating that actual curve there. So they are aware of that, and they are going to be completing that when they paint County Road B.
So will you put the shoulder down before you paint?
Yes.
You will.
Yep. Yeah. Otherwise, we'll tear
That's what I figured, but I didn't.
the reflective portion off of the pavement marking. We would tear off with our graders. So that needs to get done first. So we'll be looking at like probably next week starting that operation. We continue to spray patch on a daily basis when we're not paving and doing everything else at one time. When we pave, it takes our entire crew, so takes away from our other maintenance stuff. So we are continuing to spray patch on a daily basis. Spray patching is basically oil and a pea gravel that we put down to fill potholes. Some of the town work, we started doing some town work. We have some culvert replacements that we completed for a few of the towns. We do have a number of roads that we are going to be asphalt paving for them. Town of Menominee, Sheridan, Hay River, and New Haven in particular are the ones that we will be doing some paving work for them. The routine bridge inspections were completed. The 150 county, town, and village bridges were completed. So that's any structure that's greater than 20 feet in length. We did contract with a company called KBIS, who has performed the inspections the last 2 cycles. So this is in every 2-year cycle when these inspections have to be completed and submitted to the feds for review. So we anticipate, and actually they just came in yesterday, all the full inspection reports came in yesterday. So we will be looking at any maintenance items that need to be completed. We did get a list already of some repairs of some timber structures that need to be shimmed with the deck boards that need to be completed within 60 days. So we actually are in the process of doing that with a few bridges, one on the county system and the rest around the town level. So it's a simple half-day project basically to shim these bridges. Shop operations, obviously, we continue to do the routine equipment repairs. Like I said, it's a daily basis. We have equipment coming in and out of here. It seems like especially when we're paving, we have a lot more 21 trucks running at one time, so. It's bound to happen. Something's gonna be needing to be fixed. We are currently looking at scheduling to get our plow equipment brought into the shop. Obviously cylinders, hydraulic cylinders looked over, hydraulic lines, any type of welding that needs to be done to the plows or wings. That'll be, before you know it, we'll be pushing snow. So unfortunately. So we gotta get that stuff looked at and brought in. We did, working with our shop superintendent, to compile, specifications for the 4 plow trucks that had been approved in that CIP request. So they're in the process of basically getting the truck and chassis. Now we just have to get the plow equipment and all that specifications put out for proposal. So like I said, I'm currently reviewing that right now, so it has not been submitted currently, so. We are looking at the possibility of making some changes with some of our plow trucks. A lot of our plow trucks have underbody configurations, which is a blade that is underneath the truck. They are, unfortunately, I don't like to say they're not useless, but they are only made for plowing snow. So we're looking at maybe going to a straight triaxle configuration where we can utilize all year. I know our guys are not going to like that because it is treated like a plow truck and a grader all in one, where we can scrape roads all at the same time. But we have 6 graders, so we need to utilize them. So
how much, like, that's what it costs per truck then? With all that underneath, that be
Just-
substantial or?
just the underbodies alone, I believe, are right around that $30,000 to $40,000. So we would be eliminating that cost. That is our biggest issue we have for maintenance. It seems like hydraulic lines, a lot of that stuff just salt and everything gets caked underneath the undercarriage of these trucks and sits right there. So
I was following one the other day on B, so what you're talking about is that thin blade that's under
yeah,
there.
it's about a
Yeah.
1 foot or 15-inch blade that's
Sticks out
underneath
about
it.
this far each side.
Yes. Yep. Like I said, our crews are not gonna like it, but we're exploring that option. So we're gonna put that in our spec for having an option with underbody and then without an underbody. And if we
So is
can
that
cut-
like a secondary blade then
Yes,
to what's on the front of the truck and the wing?
yes.
It must be behind the wing then, huh?
It all depends. So some of ours, the wings are in front and we do have wings in the back. So it could be either way.
So it's like a second, basically like cleaning up whatever the front plow. or-
There is times where some crews don't even use the front plow. They would just
if
use
there's
the
just a little bit
underbody.
of Snow or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one big thing with those is you can put down pressure on it, so
Yeah.
it's a scraping blade.
Yeah.
And you can literally pick the truck off the ground with it.
Really?
So you can do some damage with them. So if you don't know what you're doing, you can,
Rip the roads up.
yes.
The one that works good, like for 94, where the traffic comes so fast after snow, it gets packed so tight sometimes that it gets ridiculous.
Yeah, so we're looking at any interstate or 4 lanes of 29 trucks, those would have underbodies on it, because we cannot take a grader out on the interstate.
Right.
But any of our secondary state and county roads, none of our county, well, I shouldn't say none of them. We have a few county routes that do have underbodies. And then traditionally, those are just a triaxle with a front plow. But every one of our state trucks right now has an underbody on it.
So you have certain trucks that are just for the like interstate then? And
Yes.
they don't do any or very little county work then?
Correct. They will help out in a
Pinch.
pinch. I mean, if they get their roads done, they'll hop on the county system. But yeah, so like I said, we're looking at trying to cut costs as much as possible if we can and save some money and maintenance costs. So we're looking at like getting those proposals in here probably within the next month or so. Just wanted to let you know some of our staffing concerns or positions that we have currently open. So we do have one mechanic welder position that from the earlier resignation that happened in early 2022. I elected to not fill that position. At that time, I wanted to see what we could do with our staffing needs with just 5 mechanics. So we've always had 6 mechanic welder positions, and we currently only have 5. We are falling into some issues with a lot of our mechanic welder, our welder side of the things. Operations, they're doing more mechanical work, so we're not getting in the stuff that we need to for fabricating. So another individual would greatly improve that. We are looking at having a different rotation with a few of the mechanics, possibly a Tuesday through Friday shift, or having like a second shift with 2 mechanics. Last month, I noted that I did make some changes with their working operations because we did have employees that were working by themselves. And due to safety reasons, I eliminated that. So we would be looking at having 2 employees working together. And if something does happen, knock on wood, like I said, we do have an individual that's there. The biggest issue we have filling our mechanic welder position is I believe is due to our CDL requirement. We do require all of our employees right now to have CDLs. We did eliminate the CDL requirement with this last position due to that fact, and knock on wood, like I said, we didn't have a lot of people knocking down the door to come in.
Is that basically due to the fact that they have to go out and get equipment off the road somewhere?
So,
I mean, obviously driving around the shop and stuff, it's not that
yeah, so
big a deal, but
if they're fixing the piece of equipment, they want to test it. So there is times where they want to take it out on the road.
Right.
That's not a big concern because we have such a big area here.
yeah.
We
Guess
have
they
been,
could sneak down the back road here.
yeah, I mean, we have enough area here that they could test it, maybe not get to highway speeds, but they could. The biggest concern we have is with our limited staff. We have utilized our mechanic welders for plowing, trucking. We've had them out in the field doing whatever we need. There is a lot of times where they have to service vehicles out in the field.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times they have to bring equipment back. So that's the reason why they need a CDL. We have required them to obtain it within 1 year. So we've given them that option to get them in the door and then obtain it within 1 year. The issue we have is the federal regulations have changed since in March. They have to go through an actual course to get a CDL. The CBTC provides a course. It's a 300-hour course to obtain it, and anywhere costs a range from $3,000 to $4,000 for an employee to do that. So right now we have 1 mechanic that does not have a CDL, and we're looking at having another mechanic without a CDL as well. So like I said, we're working it out with HR and admin on what we can and can't do with this whole CDL. Currently, we are looking at paying the employee to take the course. The issue with the whole CVTC thing is they condense the training for government and municipalities. And the unfortunate thing is that they require the county to pay for the course. They won't let the employee pay for it.
Can they do that down here in Menominee?
No, not that we're aware of. It's the Eau Claire CBTC. They're,
So if they have to go like during the day, do they still get paid by the county then?
yes,
Okay.
that's what we're looking at right now. CBTC is offering a course starting here in August. It is a Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday 10-hour day course for 300 hours. So it'd be basically 2.5 months that we would have known that that employee would only be here one day. So that's why I'm saying right now we are exploring other options. Like I said, we're looking into this.
And that person would have to pay their
Yes,
$3,000 to $4,000 under that arrangement.
Correct.
because The county
correct.
can't pay it on that side.
Yep. And I do believe that the CDL in general is limiting on what we can find for staff in a mechanic position. We're not getting the Kai's Chevrolet mechanics. We're not getting those type of individuals. We're looking at a heavy diesel mechanic that unfortunately, like I said, they can work in a private sector for more than what they can here. So
They're in high demand right now.
they are. We've tried everything we can with the CBTC. We've put postings in their program. Nothing. So. Like I said, it's a concern and we're gonna be exploring it. We do have 2 operator positions from 2 recent resignations, and actually a third just came up this week. So we have 3 operator positions that are due to resignations. We did start the process of filling those positions. We did have some moderate interest. We do require a CDL, obviously, to do that job. You have to have a CDL from day one. With plowing and running equipment and driving truck. So we are in the process, like I said, reviewing the applications. We did. I started the process with HR to start interviewing next week. So
Is the biggest problem the pay, on a pay? Cause at one time, like to work for the county highway was a really good job to have, and you go by there, not hiring, be a sign out front, now it's.
I guess this is my opinion. My opinion is I think we have less pay, which is not a big concern. I think what our big concern is the lack of benefits.
Yeah.
Our health insurance has changed dramatically. And that's what's a lot of individuals are looking at right now. Besides the pay.
And that changed not too long ago, right?
Correct.
Yeah, good. I heard the rumblings of it.
Yeah,
You know,
so
and so is that something that can be revisited or not, or?
that's outside of my regime. So
It is, it's continually being revisited.
I figured that, I mean,
But that was always.
I
a
worked
thing. I
in
mean,
the state system for, it's out there and it was constantly on the agenda, and
Right.
getting attention, which it, obviously should, because, the benefits package. I know some of the people that have worked here and in the city and stuff, that's part of the reason, why they did it is because they had really good health insurance, they had really good retirement packages and, those kinds of things, and that was kind of the allure to come into these positions,
Exactly.
and
correct.
Wasn't the pay, it was the benefit.
no, you could take a $17 hour job here versus $22 somewhere else and still come way out ahead with your benefits.
Yeah, and Chris and I and HR have set up a meeting next week to talk to all the employees and get their input on it. Cause
And I know you're new or
Yeah.
whatever, but
Yeah,
I mean,
It's a very real issue.
just trying to,
yes,
learn what's all going on and why, and I knew that it had changed and there was a significant change. Just listening to some of the talk, but
Yeah, and like I said, it seems like the private sector has the wages and the benefit packages that are, they can do signing bonuses, they can do all kinds of stuff,
Exactly.
and where we're limited.
exactly, they
Um,
wised up. Or
So,
were forced to wise up, one of the two. It's kind of the position maybe this is headed is, that's kind of where I'm getting at, is that might not have a choice if you're gonna have. Either that or we're gonna have to. Get our four-wheelers out and plow all the streets.
we're gonna be asking people with CDLs to hop in a truck pretty
Yeah.
soon, but yeah, it is a concern for me, and like I said, I reached out to Chris and HR, and like I said, we're gonna have a meeting. Like I said, it seems like when one or two do it, that opens up the eyes of other employees.
Yeah,
And that seems like I've heard rumors that there's others that are possibly leaving too, so it is concerning for me.
It's not good.
So I just wanted you to be aware of that situation, and like I said, we're working on it as best we can, so.
All it takes
Just to maybe try to get a little ahead of it. You know,
Yeah,
and
correct.
Yeah,
say, what is it that would allow, what could we do that?
right. That's awesome. I think it's a great thing, yeah.
So, yeah. We'll go through some of the projects, just an update. So obviously, we paved our County Road B and County Road Q projects, and like I said, we'll be looking at shouldering that both projects here and getting them opened up to traffic. Obviously, people see it. We do have the road still closed due to the fact of not having a shoulder on it and painted. Yeah, people see it and they just go around it, so it's asphalt, let's go. So,
So I talked to you at the county board meeting. Are you gonna put a lime rock on here or gravel was a little more?
so Q will be lime rock, V will not be. V will be a sand gravel, over,
More clay in because
it's,
we're talking, there's a lot of rocks that came off from the sides.
yeah, it's,
Along the corners, and there's some rocks that were pretty good size.
it's gonna be more of a clay based, so we are getting the materials from Haas over on 124 over by Bloomer.
Okay.
Is the closest quarry in that area, so we've had that material in the past, actually it'd be the two phases prior to that is where we got that material.
I didn't see no problem there, I didn't see no problem.
It's just the
That by
last
the
phase
church.
we did, yep,
But
yep.
have you ever church?
Yep.
Pine Creek.
Yeah.
Pine Creek Church.
Yeah, unfortunately, they haul lime rock that far it's not cost effective, so. So yeah, and then just a note on there on our Q project, we do have some guardrail that needs to be put on there yet for the two bridges that are on that project.
Are they going away from the wood posts for guardrails? They see a lot more like metal. I mean.
So we traditionally like utilizing metal. The big reason for it is we get a lot of hand-me-downs from the state. So a lot of the interstate guardrail that comes off, that's literally, I'm not lying, is 3-4 years old. We get it all. So we will utilize that as a cost saving and not have to buy new posts. And we do utilize recycled rail a lot of times. So we don't like the contractors to cut it. We like them to unbolt everything so we can actually utilize it. So yeah. I guess we benefit from what the state does, so. Just to update you on some of the other projects, so County Road Z, we continue to replace some culverts, doing some shoulder widening. And then the ditching continues. I just showed you two pictures there, obviously the two up on top there, what County Road Z currently looks like. So like I said, a lot of shoulder widening when you have a 60-year-old road that's beat up pretty bad. The shoulders are all crushed down. That's what we have to do to just get it back into place. So we anticipate adding our 4 to 6 inches of gravel. We actually just started that this week for a portion of it, and we anticipate pulverizing in late August. Yesterday I did advertise for bids for paving County Road Z. I want to look to see if it's cost effective for us to actually hire that out instead of our operations doing this. We have a lot of work currently right now. And I anticipate late September when this is going to get paved is what I'm anticipating right now. And that's when we have to start going in crunch mode to try to get a lot of our stuff done. So I'm looking at possibly having a contractor come in and pave it based on the cost. We'll see what it comes in at. So I did submit those yesterday for the end of the month here for proposals to be submitted.
Are contractors staying busy with them?
Yes,
They are.
they are really, really busy. So I did talk to the main contractor in the area to see what their workload is. And they said if, depending on the price, whatever, they can work things out and schedule it. And we would be doing the trucking for it. They would be placing the material. So that's helps alleviate approximately 10 individuals that they're helping to place the material down. So we can utilize them somewhere else and save money by a contractor doing it, or I'm gonna look into that. So our County Road B project, we continue obviously with the 90% design and right-of-way acquisitions. So we did have some sales studies and offer letters for a few of the parcels on the south portion of County Road B, which is from I-94 to 1229. We did, I believe we submitted 3 of them, 3 offer letters. It's quite comical. You pay more for the actual analysis and the engineering to have them do the cost sales study than what you're actually offering the land. So that's how it goes. But yeah, so we're looking at like I said, there's 7 parcels on that south phase that we need to acquire, small little parcels. 3 out of the 7 have been submitted for and I'm anticipating in the next week or 2 here the other offers to be submitted. We did send, I did not, but the contractor sent out letters to all the utility companies for possible utility conflicts, any type of power poles, any type of underground utilities that need to be relocated for the project that are within our road right of way and outside of our road right of way will have to be relocated for anticipation of the project. I am anticipating quite a few utility conflicts on both phases, the north and south. There is quite a few power poles and utilities, pedestals and stuff that are going to have to be relocated. So hopefully that we hear Excel, I believe We Energies is out there, everybody and their neighbors out there. So, but yeah, there's quite a few of them. Dunn Energy, I think they're all out there. But looking at some of the project milestones, so November 1st, our plan spec and estimate needs to be completed. So CBS Squared is the firm that designed it. So like I said, they're at 90% completion right now with the design of both the north and south portions of B. And just to reiterate, the County Road B project south of the interstate is an 80-20 match. That's an STP grant through the DOT. And then the I-94 north portion of B from the interstate to Packard Drive is a multimodal and an LRIP grant that there's $1 million allocated to that project. So once the project is complete, then we get that reimbursement of $1 million. So like I said before, project costs have grown exponentially on both projects due to the nature of what we're dealing with inflation. So like I said, that's something you'll be seeing this weekend, I'm sure. So and I did show you that before, how they have grown in cost. But We're anticipating, obviously, in December here, all of our parcels need to be acquired, and submitted and approved by the DOT. So hopefully we can get things going on that, and like I feel like I'm a moderator between the contractor and the DOT. They're pushing and I'm pushing and I'm the middleman, and it's like, okay, let's get going. So
What if somebody holds out on that, or can they, or?
they can, so they have basically 60 days to appeal it. And if they do, then we have to go, they can get their own appraisal completed on it if they don't feel that what we offered them is fair. So they have 60 days to do that. So hopefully, knock on wood, everything goes good. I don't anticipate it being an issue. There's only one private owner on that entire stretch. So otherwise it's all businesses. So hopefully Walmart, Quick Trip and Loves and all that, they're willing. So if they want a nice road, they gotta help out a little bit. So the goofy thing with this is obviously these are two separated projects with separate funding. The 1229,994, like I said, is an 80-20 match where the state basically is the bank on it. They pay for the whole thing, and then they, as the project's going, they send us invoices for us to pay as it's going.
So would you do both projects at the same time, or you do one first and then do the other one, and hold up?
So right now, the anticipation is to do both projects at the same time. We're hoping to get the same contractor.
Okay.
So we have to bid it separately when we do this. I fought with the DOT to try to get this all under one contract. We couldn't because one has federal funding and one has state funding, and we can't do that. So right now we're anticipating the local project that we are in control of from I-94 to Packer Drive. We're looking at bidding that first prior to the state STP project. So we're looking at a month earlier to get that bid. So then they will, if they got that, then they'll be interested in the next one. Hopefully it's the same contractor. And we're going to make it known in there that there is a project south of this that is anticipated to be.
Gonna make more
bid.
sense, you got the equipment there already.
Correct.
Right,
Go right,
right.
right across the
It's
interstate.
gonna be concrete again.
Everything out there is going to be concrete. Is what we're anticipating due to the nature of the truck traffic. They did an analysis, long-term analysis, CBS Squared did, and they came up with it doesn't seem like a lot, but over a 20-year period, it'd be about $250,000 worth of savings to put concrete versus 6 inches of asphalt and all that. So like I said, the big thing with us in concrete is you have to maintain it. You can't just let it go, like we unfortunately did. And
So how do you treat that differently? than, Asphalt,
like
Maintain it.
maintain, it? What do you do different?
Jump on the cracks. quicker.
the biggest thing is you got to seal those cracks.
So what do you seal them with, is what I'm saying? Same
So
thing
it
you
would,
do?
it would be the
Same thing,
same
okay.
materials. It would just be their controlled cracks
Okay,
versus asphalt. It cracks wherever it wants.
yeah,
So it'll be controlled cracks. If it gets to a point where you do get some heaving,
yeah,
you replace it right away.
okay,
Just stay up on the maintenance as much as you can. Just don't let it go.
yeah,
And like I said, it just got to the point where we tried everything in our power to try to hold it together and just. But yeah, like I said, after 20 years lifespan, you still have to do something. So there might be some repairs that we will have to do, spot repairs. But long-term concrete is the better solution based on the analysis that CPS did.
that's a 6-inch too then?
So the concrete's gonna vary in depth. On average, it's gonna be 10 inches.
Really?
So basically from Walmart distribution north is gonna be 10 inches and it'll be 9 inches south of there.
Oh,
Doesn't seem like a lot of savings, but it does add up. But that's the average is 10 inches thick.
Due to the weight. that's
Correct.
Expected to travel on it,
heavy trucks.
especially all the turning in and out.
That was my big concern with asphalt. If you put asphalt in an intersection, just the turning movements, you're gonna start tearing
Start
that.
Shoving it and smudge, what I call smudging it or whatever.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Wadding it all up.
But yeah, like I said, this is anticipated, both projects starting next year. Like I said, January let for the north portion and February let on the south portion. Probably as soon as spring starts is what I'm anticipating this project to start. Which is gonna be an absolute nightmare for traveling motorists, because it is gonna be restricted to bi-directional.
That's what I was gonna ask
So
you.
you one
Just
side?
shut down one side. And go like this on the other side. and then-
Correct, and we're gonna have to make some
Which I don't
crossovers and stuff like that, some temporary.
I have no
crossovers.
idea what they're doing downtown right now, but
I won't talk on that one.
geez, Louise.
That's the city's,
No, I know. This, I'm glad you're not doing it that way. That's
But with this project too, the railroad is actually gonna be redoing their railroad crossing too, 'cause that's a lumber
Yeah.
wagon. So,
Get on the binders every time you go over that.
Yeah. That's a bad spot down there without the lights by the railroad there.
It is.
It's terrible.
To get in and out of there. It's a nightmare.
yeah, so there will be traffic signals put at that intersection.
Right by the railroad tracks.
Yeah, where Loves and Senex are
Loves and
there.
Senex.
Yeah, there's gonna be traffic signals and it'll be coordinated with the railroad crossing.
Cause it'd be to the east down that road behind
so-
Senex.
Feed mill.
Oh, feed mill.
Feed mill and the asphalt plant.
Well, that's what I thought. When I
All of
was,
our trucks utilize it, every.
went up
dump
to
truck you think-
Boomer and back 2-3 times here the last couple of weeks and I was just. Couple county trucks were turning in there and other dump trucks and stuff. And I'm like. You can see it on 94. There's something back there. I didn't know what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, so and I'm waiting for the engineering firm to send me basically the final plans, and then I'll present them to you guys just for some review. Right now, like I said, it's changing and I don't want to show you anything that isn't gonna happen, so. To move on to our bridge projects, so obviously the County Road K Connorsville Bridge, and I apologize, I spelled Connorsville wrong, it's an O and not a D. I got reprimanded on Facebook for it, so.
Good thing my grandpa's not here. You know, Connor.
I wouldn't have known the difference.
Like I said, that's how I spell Connor. I'm sorry, but yeah, so that project is complete. It is open to traffic. It opened up on July 25th. The DOT is going to be completing the inspection of this bridge. Myself and Lee, our engineer, we went up there and looked at it. We had no issues with it. Like I said, there's not much to look at. It's just a solid piece of concrete.
But it looks nice though.
It does.
The one thing you'll notice along that drip edge there, along the edge, we had them install stainless steel flashing. The biggest issue with open rail like that, all the chlorides and all the salt and sand and everything, it leaches off that side and it comes underneath and it'll start spalling that under deck.
Oh,
So we're trying to eliminate that. So that's the first bridge in the Dunn County that has the stainless steel flashing. Hopefully everything works with it and helps improve it. We're hoping that bridge is gonna last 100 years, so I'll be long gone when that has to get replaced again. So I think the project went really well. I know we did get some comments on Facebook that why it took so long and yada, 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 but it's not just a 2-week job like people think it is at sometimes, but so like I said, it went well. The County Road Cuba Bridge, that's the latest and greatest picture that I provided there. So the abutments have been poured. The deck has been poured, and I actually believe they've got the rail poured now. So that is gonna have a solid rail. Concrete rail similar to what's up there on W. It's gonna look kind of goofy because it's a short bridge. And it's gonna have 42-inch concrete walls on for the railing. So it's gonna look kind of goofy, but we had I shouldn't say had to do that, but we could have had open rail, but the standard is you need to have crash worthy rail. And concrete parapet walls are the only ones that are crash worthy with the DOT standards. We got away with the open rail up there because there wasn't enough slope on the bridge to discharge all the water. It has to go off on the sides, so. The Cuba Bridge, we're looking at obviously anticipating probably at the end of August here for that to be completed. What needs to be done yet is the railing, which I think they just did the last week. The asphalt approaches, the approach guardrail, and then the pavement markings and restoration. So that's anticipated to be done by August 29th. So. We'll go into the County Road Q and W project. I just wanted you all to be aware, this project was going to take place this year. It was scheduled for construction in 2022. We ran into some hurdles with some of the design. In particular, this intersection at Q and W. Currently, it's a T configuration with only one stop coming from W onto Q is the stop condition, and it's configured as a T. We've had numerous close calls. There has been an accident history there. It is confusing for a lot of motorists on what to do when they get there. It looks like it should be a three-way stop, and it's not. So we hired last year Cedar Core to complete the design to reconfigure this particular stretch of road and intersection. Originally, we wanted to have a 45-mile-an-hour posted curve speed limit on this curve. Obviously, you can kind of see the one line that's way out there. That's where the center line of the road would be. Large impact to the owner, the landowner. We did talk to the landowner, and he basically did not like the idea and had was giving up his prize cropland was right there. So we went back to the drawing board and see if we can reduce to a 25-mile-an-hour curve. The way they have to design it is they have to design it for 5 miles per hour more than what the actual design speed is. So when I say a 25-mile-an-hour curve, that would be the advisory. They have to design it for 30. So
How many acres were you thinking about getting from the guy?
I believe that was going to be about an acre.
He wouldn't give up an acre?
I didn't very many acres.
Ryan, you're a farmer.
I am, but come on. You
Every
pay for it,
every acre is precious. So no, and I understand. So like I said,
I'm sure he drives it.
what we did though is we're following suit with the curves that are on this road. So that's why I said, well, let's lessen the impact of this, and we're still gonna have to buy real estate.
Yeah.
And that's why we're not gonna get this completed this year. So there's probably gonna have to be a carry forward for next year. This does have ARPA funds allocated to this project as well in 2022. So like I said, that'll be something we'll have to address later in the year and with carry forward, or maybe it won't even happen next year. So I'm just letting you know. So there is some hurdles that we're currently going through. We did look at possibly doing a 3-way stop condition, and our entire goal is to eliminate stop conditions if at all possible, especially with 3-way intersection. They're considered unsafe. Having a curb like this would be more beneficial. freer flowing.
Mhm.
So that's what we're looking at, and I just wanted you to be aware, so it's not gonna happen in 2022 and possibly in 23 is what we're looking for.
But it is nice that you're cooperating with landowners, you know, 'cause I know when they done out here, there's a lot of conflict. I've heard, you know, with landowners and everything else, you know, I mean, if you could at least work with them where it's practical, you don't get that bad name.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, so like I said, we're trying to make some improvements, but we're still gonna have some impacts to lands around it, so. Yeah, so I just wanted that to be, you to be aware. We'll go into our crushing operations and equipment. I put this on the agenda. Did you get your input on it? I'm looking at exploring the possibility of discontinuing our own crushing operations. When I say our own crushing operations is basically eliminating all of our crushing equipment. And not eliminating our quarries. We would still need our quarries for materials. We would be hiring the crushing operations out. The big reason for it is there's a lot of equipment sitting there. We utilize this on an every other year basis currently. If there is a need where we have a project that's close to this, our Finder quarry, which is out by 29 west of town, in the town of Lucas, that is our main lime rock source. That's where all of our equipment is housed out there. Like I said, I'm trying to do everything in my power to cut costs as much as possible, and I do believe that it is not beneficial for the county to be operating this equipment. It is getting to the age where we have some known upgrades that are going to need to happen. Biggest thing is that semi trailer right there that has a generator in it, a Cummins generator that has 9,800 hours on it currently, and that's what runs the whole operation. I can tell you this stuff is not cheap to purchase. So I would be looking at, like I said, eliminating our own crushing operations, selling this equipment. Some of the stuff that we would be looking at keeping would be some of our conveyor systems. We do obviously looking at making our own salt sand yet. We could utilize some of these conveyors to put up salt in our sheds. But the main pieces of equipment I kind of put on there, that Kohlberg, that 2005 Kohlberg Pioneer crusher, that would be out the door. That's the one on the top left. We have that cone crusher, that one on the bottom right, that 1994. We would be looking at disposing of that as well. The generator with the semi trailer, we would have, I believe we have approximately 12 conveyors. Most of those would probably be disposed of as well. We do have a 2006 Volvo Loader. It's our very largest loader that we have. Is big reason we had it is for our crushing operations. That is, I'm not gonna lie, since I've been here for the last 15 years, that's always been on the radar to get replaced. I don't believe we need a loader of that magnitude if we would eliminate our crushing operations. We would still need a loader of some size just for salt sand production, pushing up salt and all that. Not your everyday common loader that you would see in our yard. So like I said, I just wanted your input on it and see if that's something makes sense, doesn't make sense. Like I said, the biggest cost savings we would have is we would eliminate maintenance and upgrading and maintaining this equipment is the biggest thing. When we crush our own materials, it costs roughly about $350 a ton at the end of the day. As I noted in our last meeting, I hired Haas to crush our material out here and it was $375. So it's not gonna be a huge difference. We actually charge ourselves $5.50 a ton when it only costs us $3.50 a ton, just for this purchasing equipment and all that stuff and maintaining it. Yeah. So like I said, biggest need is, or the biggest elimination would just be the maintenance costs and equipment costs that we can hire it out and let other contractors worry about their equipment, not ours.
I was just gonna say, there are other contractors site.
There is Milestone, A1,
Yeah, they
like I
all-
said, there's everybody in their
That was
neighbors.
gonna be my question, if you're gonna be able to get access to when you needed it, you know. I
Yes.
mean, obviously, projects are scheduled far out in advance, so that's all part of it, but
Yeah, and we would bid that out if we, so we contract the blasting portion. We usually do about 50,000 tons every time we blast. So we would note that in a bid that we have 50,000 tons to crush laying on the ground, and we would basically, they'd bring all their equipment in and crush it for us.
So this equipment's used solely for the fender pit.
Yes,
And only once every 2 years?
that's currently what we're utilizing it right now is biannually.
What would our cost
seems like
going up
a
though?
no-brainer, doesn't it?
Replacing all this stuff, right? I mean,
I couldn't imagine what that would cost.
that's what I mean, if we have to start replacing some of this, isn't our cost goes up from 350 to 450,
850
exactly, that's, what I mean, if you gotta replace that loader.
nowadays, yeah.
You're gonna talk quite a bit of money.
I would figure that loader alone was probably $350,000.
Cause your 350 is your base cost right now, I mean, with.
Yeah.
Everything being paid for,
Correct.
Well, the generator can't be cheap.
That whole operation right there is probably, when it was purchased, was probably $500,000.
That'll be $1 million.
Yes, I would say that's $1 million.
the loader's gonna be.
So your gravel pits, and how do you crush that gravel? You hire that done? Like the all
So
right pit and stuff like that.
So the only one that we actually crush out of is our fender pit for rock material. Our Albright pit is solely for sand.
Oh, okay.
All of our other pits are the same. It's just sand.
Just sand, no gravel.
We do have sand gravel up at our Red Cedar quarry and our Prairie Farm quarry. It's so far and few between though, it's mostly just sand.
Okay, okay. I
And
didn't realize that.
Is this fender pit, is this the one that's just past Coyotes?
you know where the old Lucas school
Yeah, yeah,
school was? It's right next to the
Right up
Lucas. School.
there, it's
Oh.
right past.
It's off of
Lucas
Town
School,
Road.
Goes that way, nice
Oh.
blacktop gravel.
So the one that's on the north side.
That's a milestone quarry. That's called the half elder quarry.
Then there's one up on top of the hill up on, was it Q?
Yeah, the Gates quarry.
Yeah.
Everything's milestone. Milestone there owns everything in
You
county.
got a lot of land there on that pit,
We
for Dunn County?
we have enough material in Fender quarry probably to last me my entire career and then some, probably the next 30 years.
Lots of them there.
From Tishman Twos, right, it wasn't too long ago.
Yeah.
Before my time.
Okay.
Yeah, there's probably, if I had to guess, 40 acres that we could mine right there now yet, but like I said, when we're doing it biannually, we're taking just 40 or 50 feet of the face and it's only gonna expand even more, but but yeah, like I said, I don't think we're doing our due diligence to the county by having this operation continue.
I just agree with it.
It's just,
So is this something that? I'm just still learning a little bit. Is this something that we make a decision on or has to go to the county board of supervisors for a vote or how's that all
I
go?
don't think it would be in here. Or probably just yourself.
I guess right now I wasn't anticipating the vote or anything. I just.
No, I'm just
I was
asking.
just asking for support or no support, like, no,
No, I
doesn't
wasn't,
sound like a good idea.
my intention wasn't to have a vote right now. I was just curious how this all works or whatever, but.
Is there's some decent value left in it or hard to say?
It's so selective. That's the thing, is there's only so many people that would want this.
Yeah,
If
somebody's gonna be small.
what we're looking at the possibility, and I was talking to our shop foreman. is maybe trading this equipment in for some other piece of equipment that we would need.
That's what I
like a
was thinking.
dozer or a loader or something like that. Where we would get some trade-in value instead of selling it outright. I don't, like I said, I don't think there's a big market for this piece of equipment.
Any chance we can, this is a joke, any chance we can run garbage through it?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a way to crush it. Yeah. It can take stumps, I know that, so it should be able to do that, but like I said, I just. We are the only county in this area that has our own crushing
Is that
operation.
right?
Unless you own a hot mix plant.
Oh,
So Chippewa, Barron, they have their own material, like source that they do this, but otherwise it's always hired out.
well, I look into it pretty heavy.
Like I said, the cost of what I was seeing with contractors come in to crush this and that, mind you, was concrete and asphalt and rebar at $375 a ton. Now this is lime rock material, that's virgin materials that I think would get a less cost, it's easier.
And a huge quantity too.
Correct. Larger quantity makes a difference too.
Have you crushed this year now?
So we last fall,
Did the blasting.
we did the blasting. We were anticipating crushing last fall and we did not.
Did not.
So everything's sitting on the ground right now.
Yeah, I just think with the labor issues we have, shortage,
I mean, when we start a crushing operation, it takes probably 3 to 4 guys.
Sure.
We can utilize those individuals somewhere else. But like I said, every piece of equipment we have has some form of maintenance on it. If we can eliminate that maintenance and upkeep on it, we're money ahead. And if there's contractors that can do it for the same cost that we can,
I'm surprised they went into the expense they did anyway. Years ago. Just for one pit. Once every 2 years.
and we were a lot bigger back in the day when this,
Okay.
we were crushing everything like for cold mix and stuff
Okay.
like that, but it's a thing of the past.
All right.
I mean, counties, I guess, used to be self-sustaining, want to do everything in-house, but unfortunately, the staff, we're getting smaller numbers and we can't do that. So we got to ask for help outside of these buildings. So
and this would be very good.
yeah, I just, like I said, I don't think we're doing our due diligence by having this equipment.
Just throw something out there and just get a feeling what it's gonna cost before we sell everything and.
Yeah, and the material that we actually have sitting on the ground, I can put bids out for that 50,000 tons and see what it comes in at. And if it's
There you go.
$10 a ton, well, then maybe it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So.
That'd be a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Yeah, like I said, I'm not saying I just want to explore
You
it.
don't want us to vote on it then.
No,
It's definitely worth exploring.
Yeah,
And
okay, there we
looking
go.
at some numbers.
I agree.
Yep.
That what it would cost.
Okay. And we will do that. We'll continue on. I wanted your guys' input on this as well. I'd like to get together and have a bus tour of Dunn County, just to show individuals, like I said, get the supervisors involved. I've talked to Austin about it, about utilizing a few buses if we would need to be. He said that he can get 28 individuals on one bus. That's probably packed in like sardines, but we can utilize multiple buses if need be. I think it would be beneficial just to show, maybe not everybody is aware of our infrastructure.
It's great.
I know most of you guys probably drive the roads, but I'm not saying everybody does, so. I just put a few of these pictures here, up, that's kind of some of our road conditions that we have in our county.
That must be W.
It's
It's gotta be.
actually Z,
Oh.
B, C, and I can't recall what the other one is. Mostly down in,
Galley.
mostly down, mostly down in O'Galley.
I don't get down there.
I don't even know where O'Galley is.
That's Dunn County. I think it's a good idea, Dustin, I really do, I know, oh, probably. When I was on, probably probably 5 or 6 years ago. We went out, the highway committee went out, and it was good to open our eyes and see a lot of these, and it would be a good idea to invite any supervisor that wanted to go.
Well, and what I really want to reiterate too is we stick all of our money into roads like this. We're not sticking money into anything that could be
Saved.
fixed prior to getting to this stage. And that's my big concern is, like I said, I want to drill that into people's heads. It's that's my concern is we're not progressing. We're actually, in my opinion, going backwards. But what I was looking at doing is, I know it's probably short notice to try to do anything here in August, because I know Austin was trying to.
Sundays are available.
The 14th?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking maybe this Saturday at 1:00. We'll make it known that we're shutting it down at 1:00.
This is my weekend up. You might as well just make it.
I don't yell at me, but that's what I wanted to, I don't know if that's something I would actually prefer doing it during the week and not on a weekend if we are to do this. I know not everybody's going to attend, and I don't know how that whole process works with, maybe Chris can enlighten me on that one with supervisors. Does it, if it's considered a meeting or what?
But it's easy to
Yeah.
just, kind of like the budget meeting we just said, 2023 proposed budget presentation.
Yep.
You know, just be a tour of county road conditions or.
Yep.
I think it would be an excellent idea.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and I'm not picking on anybody, but if you're new on the county board and you live in the city, you don't know what's out there. You know, you go to 29, you go to 94, the roads are good, you know, but. And the city roads, they're all good, I'm sure, so.
Oh, yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
But you
No,
can't
I've
blame
been-
them on the county roads.
No, I don't.
So yeah,
I've been on these roads this summer. So,
I mean, obviously like I said, it's an eyesore, and I guess I'd make a note too, if you look on that far right, picture. That road was actually overlaid about 8 years ago. So that's what an overlay looks like. After 8 to 10 years, I know there was kind of a big push that let's try to get more asphalt down and put overlays. If your substandard soils are bad, your surface is gonna be bad. So that's what an overlay looks like after 8 years.
If the base is bad, it's not gonna last very long.
Correct.
and they overlaid 25 south of town, right? That was overlaid down to Dunn, so.
No, so what that was a cold in place recycling. So they ground the asphalt and relayed it. They add a little bit of oil and then they put a surface treatment over the top of it. So they put like a 2.5 inch
That's
overlay.
supposed to last longer. Or-
It's kind of the wave of the future to cut costs down for your asphalt, but the problem with that is you need to have 5 inches of asphalt to do it. So it helps add structure to the road as well as get you a new surface treatment. So unfortunately, we at Dunn County can't do any of that because we don't have 5 inches on our roads. So.
So what is your standard now when you put like asphalt down? Is it 2 inches, 3 inches?
So our standard is 24 foot wide by 3 inches minimum. I'm trying to shoot for 3.5. But unfortunately, like I said, we're trying to cut costs wherever we can. So we put 3.5. The minimum standard, if the state's involved, is 4 inches. So any one of our projects that we do that has state or federal money is 4 inches is minimum. So like I said, I'm trying to get to that 3.5, try to get there, but we can't. Right now, it's just 3 inches is our minimum standard.
So you're thinking about the first part of September or?
So I was leaning more towards the first part of September. I know Austin said that gets to be troublesome September because of school starting. So that's why I was like, can we get it pushed into late August here? That'd
What?
be,
What if we just like? Some of us just drove out there and. Yeah, I had no problem driving out, and meeting somewhere out here to look at it, but
like I said, I wanted your guys' input. I know we did this probably 10 years ago. Maybe we went around and took a tour of Dunn County,
Yeah,
just had like a
okay.
planned route.
I think it would be interesting to think about doing it annually and just do some because it's a lot of road.
Correct.
So to do southeast, southwest, northeast,
So how long-
kind of on a rotation and just get out and look at them.
Yeah, because originally I was thinking we just make a circle, but
How long do you think, I mean, approximately?
I have no idea.
I was gonna say that.
I would say probably 3-4 hours.
That's like that.
Depends on who's driving the bus and how fast they go.
And the road.
I guess it'd be nice to bring up on
And-
Saturday to see if there's anybody else interested at a county meeting. I don't know, I mean, if anybody interested in doing it, so we have kind of a number. I mean,
We almost have to have a date too. If you
right, that's what I mean, you should almost have date.
have a date set. for it.
Correct.
But I think it'd be excellent to invite all the supervisors and the ones who wanna come, let them come, because when it comes time for the budget, you might get a lot more support. So if I do go out and see that.
That's what I say, I think it'd be important to get a date kind of. And then Saturday, we could, see how much interest.
Cause I've noticed too, being on the board, that at times the supervisors in the city kind of vote more in a block than ones out in the country. And that's almost half the supervisors, like, they are associated with Menominee, so if they get them out there to look at it, I think it'd be a good idea. You might have picked a date, 'cause no matter what date you pick, it's gonna be a conflict with somebody.
I guess I was looking more towards the late September. Only just because I think with early September with school starting, it gets a little bit more hectic. And like I said, talking to Austin, he said he can make things work. He said he'll provide us the oldest bus he's got with the worst suspension, so he did a through ride.
He's thinking. How about the last Wednesday in September?
Absolutely,
31st?
because that's usually the county board, isn't it?
No,
last Wednesday?
it's the third Wednesday. of the month.
There's no.
Okay, so the last Wednesday would be,
31st of August or so.
I mean, we can pick a date right now, if everybody agrees.
September, because I can't.
Oh, it's September?
September,
September.
yes.
Didn't you want to go late?
I was thinking September, because
Oh.
I think right now in early or late August, I think is kind of
Let the Austin get a feel for his routes. and
I
stuff.
think it'll work for us maybe, but not everybody
28th is the
get
last.
blindsided by holy man.
How about the 28th?
Yeah,
Would that be all
28th of
right?
September. That'd be the last. one.
Wednesday?
Yeah, then you got a date already set, so people can kind of
you
plan
think,
ahead. or
you
whatever.
think like having it in the morning, evening, afternoons?
Oh, I think morning would be
Eight bells,
better.
man.
Yeah.
What's that?
Eight
Leave at
bells.
8 o'clock in the morning.
I'm willing to even do 6 o'clock in the morning if need be.
Better. You better. Sundays are still an option.
So it'd be September 28th. And we can pick a time or whatever, but we'll just say 8.
Leave from here.
Yeah, we'll have the bus come out front here and there's plenty of parking space out front and.
Yeah.
I don't know if we, like I said, put it on the September agenda or something like that, maybe. The
Well,
exact,
I would
or
suggest-
I don't know how
I
we,
don't know how this would work, but I would suggest another potential thing would be to do some photos and filming along the way.
Yep.
For people that couldn't attend, you could provide information, like this is.
I'm just gonna say,
this is
the video-
really powerful stuff.
It is.
I was gonna say, the pictures today have been a huge improvement over what we've had.
and that's why I went to this layout is, so you can see it.
So what month, do give a report to the county board. You know,
The financials,
well, when you come in here, like, every month we have 30 departments, they come and give an update, which is.
so I did that already,
okay.
what was it, April? May,
I think
May,
it's
I think it was May.
You're already,
Yeah, in November, we have to provide the 2021, like the previous year's financial.
Yeah.
So. Which is kind of goofy. It's like we wait so long to provide last year's financials, but got to get through the audit process.
That's a good idea. I think it's a really good idea.
Well, I'll start the planning for that last or that third Wednesday of the month or in September for 8 o'clock and
It's last.
last Wednesday, last Wednesday, and then we'll see if we can put it on an agenda or something like to the full county board for their interest.
I think it would be helpful, as you talk about a 40-year replacement. Like, what is a 10-year? What does 10 years look like? What does 20 years look like? What does 30 years look like?
And that was my intent, is not to just go show every road that's beyond hope.
No, you gotta show.
Something that's like, yeah, I agree, like a 5, a 10, a 15, try to get a
Feel
wide
for that.
variety.
Right, why does that become?
don't you have to rate the roads every couple of years for the state? I know. the
Yes,
Township, we have to go around.
yep, every other year.
Yep.
And that's why I was saying before, that's why my concern is we're seeing a lot of those roads that are in that. On a scale of 1 to 10, they're like a 5 or a 6 right now. Majority of our roads are in that, and we can't put any money to it.
Yeah.
Right now, we're sticking all our money into the really, really bad roads. So, correct. And County Road B. All right, well, we'll plan on that. And like I said, will be more information to come. This is hard to see, so you might have to look at your. I did put a handout in here. So this is our highway financials through the month of July. We are looking at, currently our expenses are outweighing our revenue right now through the month of July, but like I said, year after year, we are always, seems like we're about a month behind on our revenue. Getting our invoices paid. Obviously, we don't show any revenue currently with our levy or ARPA funds, so that obviously would play a role as well. So, yeah, I actually have a full-blown copy.
Oh, there you go.
So if you look at the summary, the one thing I like to point out is obviously based on our current expenses versus our revenue, we're anticipating a $319,000 budget surplus at the end of the year if we follow the same trends we are right now. So like I said, that's a plus. Hopefully we can continue that being positive. So, and some of the kind of the breakdown of the revenue or the expenditures, as you can see on the next pages, that just kind of shows where majority of our expenses are going currently. So a lot of it is county construction, maintenance, and running equipment. So. Any questions kind of with the financials? I know there are a lot of numbers thrown at you, but biggest thing is, like I want to point out, is we're anticipating, like I said, a budget surplus of not much, but it's something that's better than being the opposite. So,
That goes in your fund balance.
yes.
So on the, financials. When you're spraying these road ditches, like growth inhibitor. Is that to eliminate any, like mowing or go from 2 down to 1, or what's the?
So our current operations is we mow twice a year. So we usually started mowing in June and then we would start mowing again in like October-ish. So what we've tried to do is to cut costs. We put the growth inhibitor spraying, that we started spraying in early May. Soon as the dandelions start growing, that's when we start spraying.
Okay,
That was to eliminate the first go around of the mowing operations and to help reduce probably the overall growth of the second mowing operation.
yeah, 'cause I see it, like, I don't see a lot of, like, really big need to do any more at all. I mean, it's not right now.
And I hate to say it, it's probably a unique summer is
Yeah.
we haven't had a lot of rain.
That's,
So I think that's where this has. We've the big advantage to this is the due to the lack of rain that we had, and I think you're seeing that
Twice in July.
stunted. You gotta start watering that.
What's that?
You gotta start watering it.
So then, that spraying, is that equal to what would cost to, have it mowed, or is it an advantage,
So,
which side is the tip to?
so this was the second year we've tried it. Last year it was a cost savings overall. This year, just the spraying operations that we did, it cost us right around $80,000 to do it. If we had 5 mowers out, 6 mowers out, that takes a month for us to do all this. We would probably anticipate about 125,000. So there is a cost savings for that. Obviously, in the fall time, if we have to mow, we will. If we don't, we don't. But right now, we've seen a cost decrease in our operations. Every county in this area is going to it. We're not the only one. St. Croix does it. Chippewa is doing it. Eau Claire is looking into it. They actually had a memo put out that they're not mowing at all. And they will be mowing in the fall time.
So how far do you spray out normally?
So we spray the entire road right away. So we have a boom that sprays out 20 feet out from the shoulder. Obviously, we did have some concerns with killing some crops, damaging some crops, and after we sprayed it.
Could you use some Roundup? Cause a lot of my cornfield edges have a lot of weeds. I mean, could that be okay to kill the weeds and corn be okay? You know, then you'd have some
The
happy
thing,
landowners.
the thing with Roundup is it kills everything, and
Including the driver.
we have no stabilization in our ditches.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
There's a few bits people spraying that all the way out there, and it just don't look good.
Yep. If we had all the landowners that would just mow the ditches for us, we wouldn't have to.
that
So
would-
maybe
would be
we
a problem.
put an advertisement out.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
mine would.
The only place where you spray is like double B from 25 to Cedar Falls. That trees grow so fast. I mean, we got apples that high already. I mean, I will say that is one area that needs to be mowed once. I mean,
Well, and I know there's certain situations where we sprayed the material and the farmer came in and put Roundup on and killed all the weeds. Well, I don't know what it was, but all the weeds took off
right,
apparently.
right, because the grass, so the weeds.
Killed the
grow.
grass, yeah.
Yeah, so now the grass and the weeds are just growing.
Yeah,
That
and
is too.
on double B is the
Yeah.
prime example. of it.
Exactly.
So,
And that's why I say that's where the ditch is really unstable because there's nothing there, no grass to grow. If you use Roundup, there's nothing there.
that's one,
Keep the bad stuff.
that's one particular road where we have to have the farmers
Mhm.
put their crops where they belong on that particular road.
Yeah.
Farming on the gravel shoulder is getting out of hand, so.
Especially on that.
But for safety though, you gotta keep the grass down, just for wildlife, you know,
Correct.
otherwise they come out, you don't even see them.
That's why I say from double.
I don't like this
25.
spray. I'm just.
So like I said, that's our big concern too, obviously, so we're trying to cut costs where we can, and I know if it becomes a problem and
But most.
we may have to come back to the drawing board, but.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous, not mowing, it really is. but-
Oh, and there's times where we could mow in July, June, and we should be mowing every
Oh,
month. So
absolutely, I
it grows.
totally understand, but But the fall one, I think is beneficial because it
Oh, yeah.
knocks it down for the rest of the winter.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
don't have the snow coming across, you
Yeah.
have a little snow fence and that right on the road.
Yeah. I'm just throwing it out there. You get complaints too. People don't like.
We do
snow
get
mowed.
complaints.
What you
Obviously,
do?
they want it mowed and
You know,
unfortunately, like I said, right now, we're looking at cutting costs and
I think in most places it works really good. I'm just saying, I know
Yeah.
where there's trees and especially popple, they grow so fast and that doesn't slow those down.
correct.
I mean, there's deer in those roads, ditches, and it's hard to.
We do have a brush killer that we could utilize on that we actually do have. We were gonna spray it, but I just told them at this point in time, it's,
Wait till you. Makes sense.
to me, it's almost too late in the year to be doing that, but
Oh, yeah.
like I said, we're looking at doing some spot treatments where we can with that.
Sure.
Other than that, I don't have any other concerns, questions with the financials or
that you report then, any other questions?
that is my report.
Justin? Any, no other questions? We'll move into actions, approval vouchers. Everybody get a chance to look at them, which we sort of, I guess. Any questions on them?
Not a lot of big spending in the month of July, but it all adds up.
I move we approve the vouchers as stated. For a second,
I'll second it.
any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed, carried. Vouchers are approved. 22-23 LRIP, County Highway B, SMA.
Yeah, so we approved a few of these from in the previous meeting, but I just recently got this one from the state. So this is a local road improvement project that we have allocated funding for. This is the north portion of County Road B from Packer Drive to the potato sheds out there by Double B.
Right.
I've
get her done.
the big thing is, if you notice the dollar amount, what we estimate what the project's gonna cost of that $1.2 million just to grind and relay it. Of that 1.2 million, there's $460,000 that's allocated to this project. We have 5 years to utilize it, so it does not need to be done right away. In our 5-year report, this is anticipated to be done in 2024 is what we're shooting for right now. So like I said, it's not gonna happen right away, but we're looking at doing something to it. I know that's,
Sooner rather than later.
and going out there on that road, we're gonna have to continue going all the way to 40 at some point in time. It's all starting
Is
to
that one of the
fall apart.
busiest county roads?
It is the busiest county road in Dunn County.
Yeah.
Yep, takes a lot of traffic from Tainer Lake area and Colfax area.
Like you pull back and Boomer, around me,
Yep. So,
and the somebody they go around the way station sometimes.
No.
Yep. and just so you're aware for this too, this project, we will have to get some design done on it. Cause I am looking at contracting this work to be completed. I have a lot of faith in our staff, but I just think with the magnitude of that project, I think we would need to outsource that.
But you wouldn't have to buy any more land at all, would you?
No, everything that you see out there right now would just be
Okay.
pulverized and repaved. I looked at the possibility of milling the surface on it, but the extensive cracking on that road and rutting is, we would not get a long-term fix if we would just mill a portion off and relay it. I would love to do a cold in place recycling on it, but we don't have 5 inches of asphalt out there, so.
I'll move that we approve that. Or.
I'll second that.
Are there motions made and second to approve the 22-23 LRIP County Truck B? Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, number 8. Dunn County resolution.
So this is a resolution that we're presenting to the exec committee, actually this evening or this afternoon. So this was an addition from the state, the DOT, for overlaying a portion of Highway 85 from Caryville to the county line. That road is deteriorated very, very badly, and we're looking at putting a 1-inch overlay on it. So that's something the state wants us to do. So they gave us an additional RMA amount, or a DMA, discretionary maintenance agreement, in the amount of $55,979 to complete that work. So we're looking at trying to complete this work very shortly here in the next few weeks. So like I said, it's not a perfect fix all, but that's what the state tells us to do. So they hired us to do the work. So that's above and beyond our approved budget. So. Maybe why that's turning on, but
1-inch overlay on that.
we are putting a 1-inch rut mix on, so it's got smaller aggregate. They've done it on Highway 25. It's not in our county, and then also on Highway 12. They've done the same thing. So
They put an oil on first or something. make
yeah,
it stick or
we'll put a
something.
tack oil down and then put the 1-inch overlay on top of it. So
Does that come out, pretty close to that amount in, that distance, or? Do
So
we end up
we-
paying a little more, or do we make a little more on that, or?
we actually provided the estimated cost, and
Oh, I
that's
see.
what they gave us for it.
You got a little fudge in here?
Unfortunately, no.
Can't do that.
Mind you, everything we do for the state is matching revenue and expenses. So if we
Oh,
go,
You gotta turn in your expenses.
yeah, so if we go above and beyond this, it comes out of our routine maintenance
Okay,
agreement that we have. So it would be paid for. We don't, doesn't come out of the county budget. So.
Okay. That would be an action item. Your motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Now second it.
Any other questions on it? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carry. Okay. Next meeting, September 14th, right here. Sound good with everybody? All right. We are adjourned.